So it's me again. Welcome back to our YouTube channel. YouTube channel, and as I've said, I am starting now to reactivate my channel by dealing some very meaningful questions or meaningful events or what is happening in the mission. So I started yesterday, really going into serious thoughts about this, and for the moment that I am trying to, it's not kind of trying to find ways how to develop my YouTube. I am dealing into some questions now, especially that questions that I ask in my journal, people that ask about that was asked about me, about my psychologist, and other things, deeper and meaningful, meaningful thoughts. And there was this question when I was in Rome, during my sabbatical. I was asked because during a sabbatical, each of us, we had our own psychologist. And I was asked by this question, is there something, from your past that is holding you back in the present? And how can you let go of whatever is holding you back? What is holding you back? That is a question that is really, really very important for us to reflect always. And it was the time that I was having a serious conversation with my psychologist. It was on December 25, 2019. And I was still, it was 2000. 2000. I was still a first-year student in England, not 2019, but 2000. I was still a first-year student in England. I was doing my theology there. And it was the death of my mother. Death of my mother, my first Christmas abroad, and she died on Christmas Day. And I could not go home because I had exams. The moment we reported back on New Year, after the day after, I had exams, so I was all bearing that kind of pain. I was bearing that kind of pain in me until during my sabbatical in 2017. So I thought that I was healed from that from the situation from the death of my mother. I thought that I was really dealing it very, very well, and that was 2000 and 2017, 17 years after, and I was still processing what is really going on. Why I was kind of being haunted by my conscience, shall we say, haunted by my conscience. When every time I think about my mother, I was not there. When she was sick, I was not there. When she died, I was not there. And so I was processing this thing with my psychologist. And it was a very emotional topic for me on that week, because we had to meet once a week. And emotional because in one of the on that session, as we were having kind of a deeper conversation, my psychologist asked me to prepare the funeral of my mother, 17 years after her death. To prepare the funeral of my mother. She told me at that very, very instant not to celebrate the funeral of my mom and to do the homily. So it was only me, my psychologist, and to do the funeral of my mother in front of her. That was so very, very painful, because as I was kind of celebrating, giving my homily, and she was there looking deeply in my eyes and trying to read my thoughts. And I was just kind of very spontaneously, I was celebrating and delivering my homily. And while I was talking, I was delivering my homily, I was crying and crying and crying, that she also just look at me, But the psychologists are like that. They just want you to speak and come out and talk. So I was crying and crying because I think the pain was still in me. No, I did not have the time to grieve. Grieving took so long for me, 17 years of grieving. And I thought, as I've said, I thought I was dealing it very, very well. I thought I was very healed, very much healed. No, but I was denying. No, I was denying the pain. I was denying the death. I remember the first time I went home in 2004. 4 years after the death of my mother, I finished theology. I went home, and the first time that when I entered the house, the room of my mother was just in front of the door, of the main door, and I just looked at there, and it was very empty. But I did not grieve for that. It was something different. It was something empty, but I was not grieving. And I went home. It was June 30 or July 4th, I think, of 2004. Then I was taken right away for the retreat in preparation for my ordination. And then I was ordained. Then on November 8th, I was sent to Malawi. In Malawi, I was working there for more than 8 years, almost 9 years. Then I went back to the Philippines, and I thought I was very, very well. But during that day, in front of my psychologist, I broke down. I broke down because I did not give myself the chance to grieve. I did not give myself the opportunity to be with my dying mother, maybe, or at the side of the coffin of my mother. I broke down because I was storing, I just stored within me the pain. I kept everything in my heart. And that during that day with my psychologist, when I just broke down and still continuing giving my homily, doing the ceremony of the funeral, 17 years after, my grieving was different. But when I let go, I felt some kind of freedom that I could easily talk about it. I remember when my mother died, when I was still in UK, I didn't like to see a coffin. Even when I was a young priest, when there is a funeral, I was very awkward. I felt like very awkward, though I celebrated many, many funerals, but deep within me, there was this negation, and I didn't like to see any coffin. But I was freed after my encounter with my psychologist. My grieving was over, and it was a letting go. And since I feel very much that I am very, very close to my mother, like the rest of my siblings, but I feel that I really had a very strong connection to my mom, and that was the moment of a real letting go for me, and it was liberating. It was giving me some kind of inner freedom, but also spiritually I feel very much at home. In fact, I said, yes, I have two mothers in heaven, Mary and my mother. But it is very important for us, I think, now, as I think about it, it is very important for us to really grieve, not to suppress, the pain of loss, to accept the loss, and to look at the positive side. Now, before I didn't like to talk about death, even my own death, but as I was in the formation and I became priest, sunset is as beautiful as sunrise. No, death is as beautiful as birth. When we die, we have a big mansion in heaven, paradise. When we die, we have more friends in heaven, the saints and the angels. When we die, we have Jesus also there. So it's nice to reflect this one always. Now that there is a beauty of death. I think what we need is preparation. But of course, I don't want that one to happen right now. I still have many. I think I am still very useful here on earth in some sense. No, but I'm just reflecting, mirroring, the death of my mother. That it is very important for us to accept and to let go. And little by little, you feel liberated. That God is always in control, no matter what. So those who are grieving, I think it's also about time for you to let go. It takes years. The pain remains, but if we accept, we also have some sense of appreciation that our loved ones are already out there in heaven with the Lord. Thank you.